Hi, how are you doing, Simon?
I'm well. I'm pleased to see you dressed for the occasion.
Oh yeah,
I
I
love
was like,
your.
my daughter, she's been in Ghana, and she gave me this shirt, and I was like, when am I gonna wear this? Simon, yes, that's it.
I'm honoured.
But Simon, do you have a story for me? Because then I will mute myself.
Okay. I've got one and maybe two poems that I thought I'd read because, there wasn't a story that I was like, oh yeah, that's the one that I want to tell. I could reason every story I wanted to tell, but it wasn't like here.
No.
And so I was just sitting down before our call, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to read some poems that I love. So I'll probably read two, and I'm going to read two because they're from different parts of the world, but they're also saying the same thing. So in this moment of global unity, why not hear about like one song in many voices? And the first poem is by Hafez, and it's translated by Robert Bly, and that's quite important because it kind of there's a bit of Robert Bly in it, and he's kind of as a translator he kind of puts himself in the poem as well, which is not a bad thing. But it's called A Glass of Wine, and you talk with a lot of people about Hafez and wine, and they go, "Oh yeah, but it's not real wine. It's like the wine of the imagination or the wine of love, like that kind of thing." And the important thing about Hafiz is that it is the wine of the imagination, but it's also the wine in your hand. And for him, they weren't inseparable. Like the life of the lover was to drink wine and to enjoy and to be sensual and sumptuous. And it was also to drink from the wine of the imagination. So that's a sort of clue to where he's coming from. In this age, the only companions we have who are free of faults are a glass of clear wine and a book of love poems. Go by yourself, for the gates of righteousness are narrow. You can't go there with someone else. The gates of righteousness are narrow. Take hold of the wine cup, for nothing can equal the dearness of life. Others beside me are fed up with this world of idleness and useless brain labor. The weakness of academics comes from never carrying an idea onward into days and nights. To the eye of the spiritual intellect, this hallway of life, this corridor of noise, this world and all its affairs are flat and without substance. My heart was full of hope that it could achieve union with your face. But death is a thief who steals all desires and keeps us from union. Reach for her forehead. He's talking to death. Reach for her forehead and lift one of those strands of hair. Then forget about whether Saturn or Venus is responsible for your luck. A passionate note was put into Hafez on the day of creation. In no cycle of history will you ever find him sober. Hafez has always been drunk on the wine of pre-eternity. Oh, I love it. Love it.
Thank you. And you made me go like this. I don't know if you noticed, I was down.
You swooned. I know. It's so good.
Thank you.
So good.
I'm mute myself again.
Okay, I'll do it. You mute yourself. I'll do another one. This is This is by a Christian mystic, John of the Cross. And there's a line in the Hafiz poem where he says, like, the gates of righteousness are so narrow. And then John of the Cross is talking about, like, when I leave my house, no one can see me. No one can see me. So this is, I'll tell you what, I'll just let it speak for itself. It's called The Dark Night. Once in the dark of night, when love burned bright with yearning, I arose, O windfall of delight. And how I left none knows, dead to the world, my house in deep repose. In the dark, where all goes right, thanks to a secret ladder, other clothes, O windfall of delight, in the dark, enwrapped in those, dead to the world, my house in deep repose. There in the lucky dark, none to observe me, darkness far and wide, no sign for me to mark, no other light, no guide, except for my heart, the fire inside, that led me on true as the very noon is, truer too, to where waited one I knew, how well I knew, in a place where no one was in view. O dark of night, my guide, night, dearer than anything all your dawns discover. O night, drawing side to side the loved and lover, she that the lover loves, lost in the lover. Upon my flowering breast, kept for his pleasure garden, his alone, the lover was sunk in rest. I cherished him, my own, there in air from plumes of the cedar blown. In air from the castle wall, as my hand in his hair moved lovingly at play, he let cool fingers fall, and the fire there where they lay, all senses in oblivion drift away. I stayed, not minding me, my forehead on the lover reclined. Earth ending, I went free, left all my care behind, among the lilies, falling and out of mind. All right, so that was those are my poems from two mystics, the St. John of the Cross from Spain.
And you open up really big.
And then Hafez in Persia,
Yeah.
in Shiraz, about 300 years apart, 300 or 400 years apart.
Well, when we open up for this conversation, we were referring to a conversation you had with Jan Blake, and where she mentioned that she was when she was young, she had this song that her mother sang to her about death, and it was very clear. It's like preparing her for life, because you can't walk around in this life not pretending that at one point you will face whoever is coming, whatever is coming to you, and it's dark. It's like if you only go for the light, there will be like a shocking experience when it's open, because there is darkness somewhere in life. And both of these poems sort of reflected that. It's possible to go into this, into the desire, into the world, into everything, and constantly know that there's something sort of leaning over your shoulder. I can wait. I can wait. I can wait 80 years, 90 years, but I'll be there. And then I'll come, and you can go if you want to go with allowance, or when you fight me, I'll come there anyway. It's there. And both of these poems sort of reflected that. It's possible to say this word death without being strange or feeling sad or whatever. Yeah, thank you for that.
Amazing. I love it.
Thank
I love
you.
it.
Well, I will tell you about when I was in a group of storytellers, and we had a story that we used like a frame for other stories. And I will tell you the original story, and then I will tell you the story that was inspired by that original story. And the story is there's we call it an equipment. It's a guy who is working in a grocery. He's owning the grocery, a grocer. Is that what we call him? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this guy sends his waiter down to the market in Baghdad to buy stuff. And as the waiter is out there buying stuff for this big party that the grocer is going to have in the evening, he sees death right in front of him. And he's like, what's that? And Death is lifting his hand, and he feels like he's threatening him. So he runs to the grocer and said, "Hey, I can't be here. I have to leave. I have to run away from. Give me your horse. I have to go to Samara this evening." Yes, yeah, sure. You can give. I have a brother in Samara. You can go there and give the horse to my brother. Good luck then. And the waiter just runs away with his horse and flies over the desert there to go to Samara. But there's nothing, and he has this party going on. So the grocer have to go down to the market where he meets Death, and he sees him, and he goes to him and said, "How come? Why did you do that? I mean, my waiter was really frightened by you because you lifted your hand like in threat, like you were threatening him." And the Death was like, "What? Me? What? What do you mean? No, oh yeah, your waiter. No. It wasn't. I wasn't threatening him at all. I was just lifting this hand in surprise because my meeting with him is this evening in Samara."
Is it stop there? It stops there.
It stops there. That's the end of that story.
Amazing.
That was we were a group. We were three storytellers, two from Sweden, one from Denmark. We had this thing going that we created stories around that. So I made up this story. That's the other story I will give you. So in Denmark there was an artist, and he had 5 of these blenders in an art exhibition, and in each one of them there was a goldfish. So you could, as the audience, choose whether or not you want to turn on these blenders and then kill the goldfish. You could do it. It was part of the whole exhibition there, that you would go and then the goldfish was squeezed into this blender and just this blood and all that coming out. So I made a story about when there were 5 of these goldfish swimming around in each of the blenders, right? And at one point, it was a school class. Is it too hard for you?
No, I love it. Go. I'm wriggling with delight. It's wonderful.
And then there's this school class, and there's one of these boys who's like, the teacher is so excited about them going to this museum with modern art all over, but Jakob is like, fucking hell, I'm going to war. And the more the teacher is excited, the more he's bored, and he's just going like, why can't we just go home? Hey, there was some Coca-Cola over there. I would like to buy that. He wasn't allowed to do anything. He just had to follow her around in this strange museum until he came to this place, 5. There was already 2 of them that was squashed. It was just this strange red water floating around there, but 3 of them were alive at that time. So Jakob, when he heard about this, he went like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Is this modern art? And then the school teacher was finished introducing this, and then she walked on with the rest of the class, and Jakob went, oh, wow, I can just press a button, and then it's gone with this goldfish. And he stared into the eyes of this goldfish, and the goldfish went like, oh no, now it's going to happen. And he lifted his finger, and then he took the other one, squeeze, blood all over and all that. So this one was saved. And Jakob moved on. At the finishing of the exhibition, there was only these 2 that was left alive, right? It was 2 alive goldfish. And as they started taking all these art down from the walls and everything, there was this man working in the museum who acted the director. What are we going to do about these goldfish that had survived? And the manager said, don't we have a cat? Oh, yeah.
That is the best response to mystical poetry ever.
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
an elongated gag is brilliant.
all right, thank you so much.
Goldfish in the bin. There's something so tense about that situation.
Yeah.
Once you've got a goldfish in the blender, you just you something's going to go down.
Yeah. All right, Simon, thank you so much for that response. It was really nice to see you. But I actually prepared a story for you, and I'm going to tell that if you're ready. Great. So the story I'm going to tell is the story of 2 young men living in the, and now again I'm going to say the Danish word because it has this optimistic tone to it. It's called an opgang. I think you only call it a stairways. Like you have a block of flat and you have the different stories, and then you walk on these stairways, right? There's always a lot of noise in these. It's kind of noisy all the way up and down. They didn't know each other before this happened, but they noticed each other because the names were on the list there. And Anton was in the bottom floor, and Melik, that's kind of a strange name, but his name was Melik, was living on the 4th floor. And Melik had a hard time in life. This was before the corona, so you could walk out whenever you like and take a bus and leave wherever you wanted to do. And the reason why it was tough for Melik was because he heard voices everywhere. When he was in his flat, when he was out on the street, when he was on the bus, when he was out in the supermarket, there were voices, always voices, telling him what to do, calling him, arguing, screaming sometimes, singing sometimes. It was a living hell to be Melik. He probably had been in an institution having a lot of medicine, if it wasn't because his father had already gone that route and he knew how dangerous this was. He was really afraid of going in that direction. So whenever he was out, anyone with a medical thing, or he was at the doctor, he never said anything about the voices. He was just concentrated of behaving really normal. I'm normal, I'm clever, I'm a normal guy. And none of these guys had any suspicion to him. But one day it was enough for Melik. He wanted to go and find the guys that made these voices. It could be the electricity, it could be in the internet, it could be everywhere, but he wanted to stop it. And he prepared himself, and he left his apartment and he walked down 4 floors and he stood there. He didn't really know what to do now. the voices were screaming in his head, and he had a stick and he started banging on the metal, like, you know, there's some metal there, and he just really made a lot of noise because he couldn't stand it. And then Anton, on the first floor there, on the ground floor, opened the door and said, please, can't you be quiet? I've been working all night. Can you please just don't do this? Do it another place. But Melik said, but I can't stand the voices. I can't stand the voices. I need to do something here. But I don't know what you're talking about, voices. I need to sleep. I haven't slept all night. I haven't slept all night either, said Melik. And Anton said, I don't know what you're on. I don't know what drugs you've taken, but please be quiet. I need to sleep because I have to study in the afternoon. And so he wanted to close the door. But Melik stepped forward, put a foot in between, and stepped into this hallway. You call it a hallway in a very little apartment? Yeah. And in that moment, when he stepped in there, Anton, of course, got afraid, but he knew that he was living on the 4th floor. It was like a total stranger. But he was like, what is this crazy guy doing now? He could do all kinds of things to him. But what he saw with Melik was a total change. He was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, listen. And Anton was like, what do you want me to listen to? The silence. I can't hear anything. There's no voices here. I heard voices for 2 years now, driving me crazy. But in this room, there's not a voice. Thank you. Can I stay here just a while? I don't really know about that, but yeah, you can sit on the floor. Can you close the door then? And he closed the door, Melik. And as he sat there on the floor, Anton looked at him and he looked so happy, so released, so peaceful. And he said, thank you. You're a kind man. I don't know. Well, he was thinking about if he wanted to steal anything, the only place there was anything worth stealing was in the bedroom. And he was going in there to sleep. So he would probably hear him coming and steal his computer and his audio equipment and all that. So he went in there, had a sleep. And when he woke up in the afternoon, he came out, and who was sitting in his hallway? Melik. Melik was sitting there still, like with the happiest smile in the world. But then there was just a little hesitation. Can you please give me a glass of water? And Anton was, yeah, of course I can. Do you want a cup of coffee as well? Yeah, it would be lovely. And so they sat there with a cup of coffee. Anton had made himself a nice piece of bread with some cheese, but Melik didn't want that. He wanted an apple. And then he started eating the apple. And that's not a good taste together. I mean, those two taste, apple and coffee. And it was like, it's not really good, said Melik. If you have to eat it alone, you have to eat the apple first and then the coffee. And then I started talking, about that, if you have an orange just after you've brushed your teeth, it smells really disgusting, really, really bad. And if you had there are people who actually made avocado cakes, and they were talking about that. It was like, you can't have an avocado cake. Yeah, there are people that done that. Yeah, but cheese and strawberry jam, that's the worst thing. Yeah, that's true. That's really, I mean, that's a bottom. If you put strawberry. And Anton was like, this is strange. I don't know this guy. But I have a conversation with him that I don't think I have with any of my friends. This is really cool and nice. I actually like this guy. So Melik stayed in his hallway. He had a little mattress that were like Anton's little mattress for guests. and they brought the duvet from Melik's apartment, and he stayed there for a very long period of time. And it was only one time, just after about a week, 2 weeks after that he moved in there, that Anton had a very big problem with it, because he had a girl with him. And he locked up the door there and said, "Hey, Melik, can you go to your own apartment? I need to be alone with this girl." And the girl was like, "Yeah, come on." And they went into the apartment, and then he saw Melik going out in the big stairwell, and he was like, "Oh no, God, they're coming back here." And he was walking up the stairs, and he looked like somebody beating him with a hammer. And Anton just turned to the girl and said, "I'm sorry, but it's not going to work for me." So the girl just left, and Melik went back and slept there. After 1 year, 1 month, 11 days, Anton came home. Melik was there. They had brought some bags to him, some clothes and stuff. He was standing there. He packed all the bags. The mattress was gone. And he said, "Hey, you're a kind man. Thank you. I've been out on the street, and there's not a single sound, not a voice. You cured me, man. You cured me. I'll never forget that. You're a kind man." And then he left. And then Anton said, just as he left, "Hey, please remember this. I mean, what we found together, this coming with the way that we talk together, I think you're my friend now. So don't forget that. Please come around. Whatever you do in the world, please come around once in a while. Just sit and talk about food, about girls, about the world. Please remember me." And so did Melik. He went out in the world. First it was hard. He didn't have a place to stay, but he found a place to stay. He found a family. He found a way to do things in the world. Not big revolution, but nice and good. And Anton became a very good psychiatrist, very good. He was very clever, and immediately when he heard about somebody who'd suffered, he knew how to look at that from that perspective. And Anton and Melik was friends all the life. That's my story.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you wrote that yourself? Eh?
Yeah. It's from this book called Hjerteløst, and it's full of these beautiful drawings from Jens.
Who did the drawing?
A guy called Jens Havik, and I don't. It's and this is the picture from Stimmer. It's a drawing from Stimmer.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
he had made some very.
Oh man, I love that. That was just like a proper short story. I don't have anything intelligent to say. I just have. I was just very touched by the emotion in that story and the feeling between them. There's just so much heart in it, and I just I felt it as you were saying. Yeah.
I think I was thinking about you, and then I thought about friendship, and
Yeah.
Then this story came running.
I do love Friends. I love Friends.
Yeah. and the thing in New York that you have written on your Facebook page about the project with nursery home, sending a joke, sending whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's one of your.
Yeah, one of my friends in America someone I used to live with at university in Edinburgh on East Preston Street. We lived. He's now a sort of movie guy in California. But he sent out this call to like, can you tell a joke to kids in hospital? Yeah, Pete Cameron. It was lovely. Lovely. I didn't realize that was up on my page. I guess he must have tagged me.
Cool. Did you do it?
I haven't. I can't think of a joke, but I think I just have to send a really bad one. Because the point, I should put some background. The kids are in isolation, so they want to protect the kids, so no one can visit. And then, but suddenly these are kids who are isolated. I mean, that's devastating. Anyway, yeah. So there's this campaign, and if you want to find out about it, if anyone's listening and wants to find out, go to Simon Hodges Storyteller on Facebook, and you'll see a post there about it. You just record a little joke for the kids there. I think the hospital's in New York. Yeah.
Do we have anything for me inspired my story of friendship?
Oh, I don't know if I can find this poem quickly enough. Do you know what? I've opened it right to this. It's by Yeats. And it's the Song of Wandering Angus. I don't know why when you said friendship, this has come in reply, but it's just, I think I heard someone spoke it the other day to me, and it just came out. They knew it off by heart. And it was just a lovely, that was a lovely thing to hear. That was Brian Fitzgerald, who's a good friend. He's based in Amsterdam. And it's the Song of Wandering Angus. Oh, how cool is that? The second line is, because a fire was in my head. So you're talking about voices. So it's in response, there you go. I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand, and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in the stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran, and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering, though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she has gone, and kiss her lips and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and times are done the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. That's that. It's good, isn't it? You're on mute.
It's very good. And I like the way that you reacted when you found out about this burning these flames.
The fire in the head.
The fire in the head. Yeah.
But it's stupid, isn't it? You get a poem, literally turned round, found the book, got it down, opened a page, and then the second line is directly related to your story. I love how it works. So
just,
silly.
just have to listen to it.
And we can live like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that is how life works. It is that bloody simple.
That would be the last word in the duets. Thank you so much, Simon.